Have you ever been the wrong way around Ikea? If so, you're already a deviant, so you can skip this bit. But if not, why not? Next time, we dare you to go in through the main entrance, grab your notepad and tiny pencil, and turn left. Yes, avert your eyes from the arrows on the floor, ignore the herds who've gone right, and fight your instinct to follow them. Bear left with confidence. It starts you at the toilets and meatballs. Your actual shopping begins in the cushions and soft fabric section. Now please continue that journey in your imagination. We're going to leave you on that solitary Ikea expedition and come back to you later to see how you're getting along. In the meantime, culture. Your need to belong is strong. Our gregarious nature means that we look at everyone else and take our cue from them. You don't know you're doing it. Culture just seeps into your bone marrow. You develop an accent to fit into the community around you. You wear certain outfits to fit the situation. The wrong outfit in the wrong situation is socially awkward. For example, if you wear budgie smugglers to work, they'll be whispering about you at the water cooler. I've learned that a handshake with my father-in-law has to be a 5-minute bone-crunching affair with full grin and an unnerving amount of eye contact, whereas with my teenage nephews, it's a hand clasp, shoulder-to-shoulder bro hug and grunty yo. Eye contact is minimal because they have phone screens that need attending to. That example shows that culture changes with the generations. Culture broadens out from individuals to society. Obesity is a classic modern example. It's often described as an epidemic, as in there's an outbreak of it, which of course, culturally, there is. We see so many overweight people that it seems kind of okay. Once it's normalised, it's easy to talk yourself into everyone else is piling on a few pounds and going large, so maybe I should too. Before you know it, you too are belching your way through an unhappy meal and a gallon of Pepsi. Tattoos, fashions, language, haircuts. We live and breathe culture without really knowing it. In the same way that fish have never realised they're in water, you're swimming so deeply in culture that you don't know you're in it. Culture is just the way things are. We're enmeshed in a matrix of language, habits and thinking. But in a detour from normal personal development, let's linger on two themes from the previous paragraph: fish and haircuts. Specifically, the mullet, which is both. We can learn a lot about culture from the mullet. The haircut, gosh, that says a lot about the wearer. An outbreak of mullets tells me we're somewhere in the far east of Europe where the 1980s still has a firm fashion foothold. But learning-wise, there's probably more to be gleaned from the fish. Mullet aggregate together in huge numbers, and by huge we mean huge. And, as with all schools, we can learn a lot. If every fish just did its own thing, there'd be chaos. So, to avoid mullet mayhem, the school has rules, very precise arrangements, which allows the system to maintain some semblance of order. Indeed, one of the benefits of joining forces with the crowd means the shoal can swim faster than an individual mullet. But despite its mass, the shoal of mullet can turn almost instantaneously. Millions of fish in a true display of synchronised swimming. Each individual fish isn't aware that it's in a 100-kilometre shoal. Molly Mullet isn't watching the whole shoal, she's just got her glassy eye on the fish next to her, who just happens to be Henry to her left and Elijah to her right. With Errol swimming above and Arkantia bobbing about below, yes, it's a multicultural school, they focus on the next fish along and swim as fast as they can to keep up. Swoosh left, swish hard right, full steam ahead. And on occasion, the entire shoal will do a U-turn. But here's the thing. If you take a careful look at the school of mullet, you'll notice that although the fish all appear to be swimming in the same direction, they're actually not. In reality, At any time there will be a small group swimming in a different direction. These brave creatures are swimming against the flow, against conventional wisdom. As they move in another direction, they create conflict and friction, and this causes discomfort for themselves and the rest of the school. I'm guessing they get a bit bashed about. But remember, Molly, Henry, Elijah, Errol and Arkanksha aren't watching the whole shoal. They're just doing what their neighbour does. So there comes a tipping point. When Molly sees her neighbour flip 180, she goes too. And Henry, Elijah, Errol and Arkanksha follow. And their neighbouring Mullet follow them. And when the small group reaches a critical mass of truly committed Mullet, not a huge number like 50 or 80%, but 2% who are truly committed to a new direction, the rest of the school suddenly turns and goes with them, almost instantaneously. The disruptors eventually win. A few minutes ago we left you wandering the wrong way around Ikea. How's your journey going? Getting in the way probably. Sidestepping. I'm hearing a lot of "sorry, excuse me." I'm guessing you're being bashed about by the majority who are coming right at you. It's uncomfortable. We're left wondering how many Ikea customers would it take for everyone to start going the wrong way. That has to be an academic paper in the making. Our best guess is that if you watch 3 or 4 families in front of you go left, you'd go left too. And if you went left, the people following you would also go left. Of course, our rule about nudging the machine isn't literally about becoming a maverick Ikea shopper. It's to cattle prod you into thinking about cultural habits that you might have accidentally fallen into. Habits that aren't necessarily serving you well. Look around at the masses buzzed up on caffeine, sugar, fast food and even faster media. Local rules have changed. Mullet is how we used to be. Physical proximity was the thing. You lived in a village of 150 people max, and you did what they did. But in the last 10 years, the meaning of proximity has changed. Technology has morphed us from physical proximity to social proximity. More recently, warp speed has cheek-wobbled us beyond social proximity to hyper-social connectivity. 7.5 billion mullets are now hyper-socially connected to 7.5 billion mullets from across the planet. The internet spreads news, fashions, gossip and haircuts in double quick time. It also spreads negativity, outrage, hatred and bile. A whole shoal of people in one region of the network starts to feel a particular emotional state at a particular time, which becomes a hashtag. The next time zone wakes up and logs on, the hashtag of negativity gets passed around the globe. Bottom line, it's easy to fit in. You're built to fit in. And fitting in is a perfectly okay short-term strategy, but I can't think of a single person in history who has ever achieved greatness by fitting in. Your long-term strategy should be to stand out for the right reasons. We call this rule nudge the machine. What we didn't tell you up front is that you are the machine. In which case, maybe it's less about following the mullet and more about setting an amazing example, which some may call leadership. We're not asking you to be Martin Luther King or Gandhi, but somebody somewhere has to be the catalyst for a better way of thinking and behaving. A more positive way of thinking and behaving. A spreader of uplifting messages, good news and compliments. A hashtag that brings some happiness. If you're that person, Molly, Henry, Elijah, Errol and Arkanksha might follow. And if they follow, their followers might follow. And 7.5 billion human beings might turn in an instant.